and my leftover fruit that I would freeze.
Yep, yeah, that's a really good idea.
So at least I got it down me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, you know,
starting
went
again?
in me.
It did start again. It
Okay,
said
good. Okay. Yeah, that's it. I'll bring that over here, Trish. Thank you for that point. So this is the Vitamix, or high-powered blender, we'll call it. And so you take your kale. If you're, say, like a lot of people are really stressed out, and they're always rushing from place to place to place, and they don't have time to chew all the kale. So what you can do is just put a bunch of kale in there, as much as you can tolerate, and then you can, like when you get bananas and they start to go really brown, you can take the peels off, throw them in a Ziploc bag, and throw them in your freezer, and then dump them in there. It's great for kids. It's like ice cream, and you dump them in there with the kale. And you whiz it up, you pour it in a glass down the hatch. And it serves a very strategic objective of getting the kale in your body. That's the toughest thing with the kale and these high nutrient foods, is actually getting it inside your body. It's a challenge.
They look good in my refrigerator.
They look good in the fridge, yeah, and you feel really righteous looking at them. But if when you start throwing them out after they've gone bad, you're not feeling so, sort of a dark, oh, I don't want to talk about this. And hide it from all the other family members or whoever's in your house. But so getting it in your body. So the ways we do that is add like raw bananas, like frozen bananas that are really ripe and they'll be sweet, and then do it that way. Or just be hungry. Wait till you're hungry to eat. That's another strategic way of getting the high nutrient food in your body. Yeah. Any other questions?
What about supplements, like nutritional supplements?
Yeah, thanks. Great question. Yeah, on my fridge over there is tons of supplements, and I've been giving them away because I spent a lot of money on them, and a lot of people really like them, but I was getting very little benefit from them. Yeah, I can't improve on what God's already created. When God created man, He created man in the Garden of Eden. So a lot of the problems that we have as a society are solved in a garden. Lack of exercise, lack of nutrition, lack of ecology, taking care of the planet. A lot of these big problems we have as society are solved in the garden, and it makes sense that God created us in the Garden of Eden. Great exercise, great yoga. You're reaching over there for a berry, and you're doing all these exercises, and it's so good for your metabolism. Just to have that gentle exercise, not like in the weight room, squatting the whole bar. All the weights in the weight room, that can be dangerous. Yeah, you might really look good, but there's something to be said when you're in your 50s or even when you're younger, to learn about the science and the biology, but also to get that exercise. It moves the lymph. We have in our body, we have lymph fluid, and twice as much lymph fluid as we have blood, but we have a heart to pump the blood, but we don't have anything to pump the lymph except for the movement. So that constant, gentle exercise of gardening. But it's best done at night and in the morning. In Tennessee, it's really hot. But so what I found is I couldn't really improve upon the natural foods that God gave us in the format that He gave them to us too. And the more processing, the worse they got, I found. Like, this is a form of food processing. It's better than what maybe we're doing before, and that's good. Work towards improvement. But the supplements, I found, I'd sort of get in this rut where I'd watch someone's YouTube video, buy their supplements, go, it didn't really help me a whole lot. And then I just keep doing this over and over. I'd just go from YouTube video to supplement purchase to disappointment. And I was spending a lot of money on it too, and it wasn't really getting me anywhere. And so I would have gatherings like this, and I'll say it after today if I have some supplements up there I'm not using. If you want to try them, they haven't helped me, and I'll give them to you. Maybe they'll help you. But so yeah, that's what I'd say about supplements. Just get it in its natural format, yeah. And I try a lot of new things too. Like, this is a kind of sprout that I haven't really used. It's called buckwheat, and I don't know what to do with it yet. I'll get online, but I finally figured out how to sprout it, and it came in like an assortment pack. So I'm always moving into different things, so it's an exploration, and you'll never get through all the fruits and vegetables. I got some really weird fruits. Like, I'm going to go outside and do a garden tour, and I've got some really incredible fruits. I've got figs and mulberries that are just doing really well right now. I eat cactus fruits, We eat dragon fruits. We eat jackfruits. And Melanie had this fruit. It was this huge fruit that she got for $20 at Kroger's. And it's, you know, we couldn't eat it all. We're dehydrating it and some in the fridge. But there's all these fruits I didn't know about, and they're sort of coming into the mainstream now. You know, Kroger sells something. And Kroger's is selling young Thai coconuts now, which are a great replacement for like a burger. You know, you just eat the coconut. It's called the Young Thai Coconut, T-A-I, I think, and T-H. Yeah, at Patel's on Nolensville Road, they sell aloe vera, and aloe vera is just off the charts. If you got like any kind of digestive problems, skin problems, aloe vera is your friend, and it's just God's gift right there for skin and for flesh.
What do you mean about the coconuts being a good replacement for a burger?
Well, they're like 1,000 calories, or 500 calories, depending on how much coconut meat you get, and you get all the so you crack it open, you drink the juice, and then you scoop out the meat, and it's a really good form of it's very filling, and kids will eat them. And the reason the kids don't eat the food is it tastes awful. You know, the vegetables. We have a mom of a younger person here, so I want to fly over this one. And you feed them kale and it tastes really bad. And the reason is because the soils are so depleted. And so, what they had to do 50 years ago to get nutrition is very different than what we have to do now to get nutrition, because the soils are so depleted. And when the soils are depleted, that translates into really bad tasting vegetables. So the kids are like, you give them a vegetable and they're like, get out of here with that. I don't want it. They'll melt down before they take one bite. And that's because they're not getting it from a nutrient-rich soils. And so that's one of the things I've been doing. We're going to do a garden tour if anyone wants to stay. And I'll just talk about some of the soil management practices that I'm involved in that actually help the food to taste better. We have a question over here.
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
I feel like kale's getting a very bad rap because
speak up.
When I first tasted kale, it was on the side of my plate at Applebee's about, I don't know how many years ago, like 17 years ago. And I tasted it and I was like, what is that? That's just amazing. And I just loved it so much. I asked the waitress to go find out from the chef what it was, and I found out it was kale. So I was like, I love kale. So not everybody hates kale.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's really around. Yeah, so kale is, it tastes good when I'm hungry. That's all I can say. And it's not one of my more palatable foods, but, Melanie loves it. So we're all different. We all like different, and our bodies need different things. Like her body might need kale. When your body needs something, it's gonna cause you to seek it out. So, any other? Yeah.
Do you eat any cooked foods or eat any
really great question.
mainstream kind of foods?
Yeah. So when I go to a restaurant, I'll eat a salad, a house salad with no dressing. I'm a raw vegan. I've been doing raw vegan now for about a year, maybe a little over. Now, my wife is a vegan. She'll eat cooked food, and we're going to have a party tonight over here, a birthday party. We're going to have cooked food, and she'll make a vegan dessert, and she does all these vegan things. But we're all in different places. Some people might be eating meat, once or and so different people do different things, and I don't get sort of caught up in the rules of it all. What I really focus on is the nutrition of the situation. So we're not eating to gratify a craving. We should be eating to glorify our Creator and to help our bodies. So we're free to eat whatever we want, but like I said earlier, when I was carrying 80 pounds around, I wasn't feeling very free. Getting out of bed in the morning hurt. That wasn't very free. That's more like slavery, pain. And so, yeah, we're all in different places. So, what I would encourage people to focus on is eat for nutrition. And you can get like a Chronometer is an app you can get for free, and it's chronometer.com. You can put in all your food, and you can actually see how much nutrition you're getting. And then that's very educational. You see how many calories you're getting and how much nutrition you're getting, and that was such an eye opener for me. Was getting Chronometer, and just doing it for a day or even a meal, even a week or a month, and you'd be amazed. And you'd be amazed, so many amazing things happen with that sort of approach. because I would see, if I had to write it down, I wouldn't eat it because it's just sort of an aversion. I didn't want to see that on the graph, and so that really helped me with some of the behavioral changes that I needed to make. But these are great questions. Keep them coming, man.
I have a question about,
Yeah.
you talked about the Asian markets and
Yeah.
Kroger. I find it's very hard to source some of these things you were telling me about.
Yes.
Is there any places you have to go to get certain things?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lots of different places to get certain things. And so I started at one end of Nolensville Road, and I worked my way down. And so, like aloe vera, they have that at two places, but, these are these long, spiky leaves, and you scoop them out with this. You cut the edges and scoop them out with a spoon. There's a video on that. But they'll have it at Patel's, which is the Indian store, and they'll have it at K&S, which is an Asian market. And sometimes it'll be $1.49 in one place and 99 cents at the other, and the other one looks fresh, and one looks really old and tired. And so, there's all this sort of foraging that goes on, in my MO. So I'll just go out, later in the week, and I'll just drive down. I can usually do it in about an hour, but it takes time. And the fresh fruit is a lot, and it's a lot harder than just buying it packaged or frozen, because then there's the choreography of ripening it. You put it on the windowsill or on the table, and it ripens, and then and when this is the main source of calories for a person, you really want to get it really ripe. And mangoes are really a wonderful thing. And then now we're coming, and they've just sort of coming at the end. And we've had some amazing mangoes. And I'll eat, these big mangoes, and then I'll have too many mangoes, and I'll say to all my kids and my family, hey, I got too many mangoes, hey, come over and have a mango, and then you don't have enough, and like there's one mango, and then someone takes it, and where's my mango, and there's all these sort of issues with it, and it's a little more problematic, but I think it's worth it just to be healthy. But it's a great question. Yeah. Any other questions?
What thoughts did you have when you first started seeing dramatic changes in this?
Oh yeah, when I first started, so what happened is I started losing the weight, but I started having all this energy. And like so many people are like, oh, I have to go to the gym, I have to work out, I have to get on the treadmill. I started feeling like running. And I'd start feeling incredible, like I hadn't felt since I was like 20 years old. And so I'd just go for a run, just go for a little run, and I'd run by a hill, and I go, oh yeah, I think I'm going to run up that hill. And so I'd just start running up the hill, and I'd come down, and I go, I'm going to run up again. I went to this hill, this big hill, and I started running up it like 5 times. I go, wow, I just feel awesome. This is really good. And I was a broken down old man at 51, so I started feeling really great. And it's good to feel good. It feels good to feel good. And I still feel really good. And I can't run as much, but I can go to the gym and lift. But the thing is, like I went away, I had to go to do some family business. I was traveling for 5 weeks over the summer. And I couldn't get to the gym, and you're jet lagged a lot, you're tired a lot. And but when I got back, I was still in really good shape. And see, it used to be if I didn't hit the gym every week or every few times a week, all the gains would go. Mm-hmm. But as I got healthier and healthier, like I don't have to work out all the time. So I'm sort of freed from that whole slavery of going to the gym. And I love going to the gym, but now when I go to the gym, I go to meet people and to make friends and to talk. I'll be the guy hanging out, and I'll look busy. I'll do some weights, and I'm really strong. So I can do chin-ups, I can do push-ups, I can do the things most men my age can't. But it was I started feeling just awesome, and I'm glad you asked that, Thomas, because you can't describe how good it feels to be healthy. Health is the best form of pleasure. So there's a guy at where my father stays. And he's a nurse, and he's a great guy. And I started telling him about, and he was having trouble with his weight. And so I started explaining to him about the nutritarian situation and what I just told you. And then I went in like 2 weeks later, and he goes, "Hey, I lost 20 pounds, but I wasn't expecting to feel so good." And I said, that was really strange. I feel really great. And all he was doing was eating tons of salads, and he was probably still eating what he normally ate, but he was prefacing everything with a humongous salad. And that's sort of the Joel Fuhrman message. Eat a huge salad. The salad is the main course. And then you can, and if you're starting out, then you can eat whatever you want after that. Do all your dangerous and addictive foods after that, because you'll be full. You'll be full and you'll be metabolically fed. And one thing I want to fly over, while we're talking about that is food as a drug. So the foods things that we're calling food are you've got opium, you got the opium addicts, and you've got the Oreo addicts. And the food is acting like a drug. So, and you notice if you have kids and they get withdrawal, it's bad. They go off, like a drunk, or like someone who can't find a cigarette. And so the foods are being engineered and created as addictive pathway, pleasure pathway sort of vehicles. And so we need to understand and reverse engineer the craving. The craving comes from the addictive foods. And foods become addictive when you take salt, oil, and sugar and mix them together in different proportions. So you look like barbecue. I would say that's an addictive food. It's got salt. All barbecue sauces have lots of sugar in them, and they have fat. So it's like, and then you've got the chemical. Better living through chemistry, right? So we got all these chemicals that are added to the foods, and these may or may not be addictive, like MSG, a flavor enhancer. And so you've got this chemical cocktail along with salt, oil, and sugar, and this creates addictive foods. So if you feel a food pulling you in, it takes like 3 to 5 days to break the addiction, but you're getting pulled in by a particular food, I would question whether you should even have that food at all. And you're not going to break all your addictions to all these foods all at once. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll just be fed up and you'll watch this video and go, that's it. I'm on the bandwagon. I want to feel good. I want what they're talking about. And you'll go cold turkey. But you just got to realize that food's pulling me in. And there's a guy I've been praying for. He has had cancer and he's really sick. And I talked to him a little bit about some of this. And he said, well, I'd rather die. And he's a Christian. He said, I'd rather die than actually eat like this. And, I was like, wow, that's some serious addiction right there. And it's hard to have the faith to realize that this actually tastes good. When I go to eat this tonight, it'll probably be about 3 o'clock. I won't have eaten breakfast or lunch, but, I could eat it now. I could eat it for breakfast. It doesn't matter. But when I'm hungry, that'll taste good. I like that whole thing. Wow, this is really good. And so, that's, so I answer that question in a roundabout sort of way? Yeah, okay. So yeah, the addictive qualities of the foods, and this is what we're getting. If it has a barcode on it, it's probably addictive. And so when I shop, I'm only in the organic produce section, and that's it. And shopping's pretty quick. I'm not like hunting around looking for the new flavor of this candy, and the high fructose corn syrup and the 20 food colorings and the preservative. It's very simple, and yeah. So any other questions? All right, so I think we covered it. Is there anything, Scott? No? Okay. Those are great questions. Thank you for watching the video if you've made it this far through part 2. And thank you for Carrie for the video. There's one other thing I want to say. Before I close that. We've had a lot of friends recently that have been diagnosed with cancer and heart disease, heart attacks, people dropping dead of heart attack. When you get to be my age, I'm 56, you expect a few, to fall off their perch, You get to be 80, they fall off their perch a lot more frequently. But now what we're starting to see is we're starting to see all these diseases affect, like my children's age. My children are like in their 20s, and we're starting to see it a lot more prevalent in their age group. And so, as the chemicals and the foods digress and the nutrition in the soil and the foods goes down, all these diseases are going up. And so we had the war on cancer, Ronald Reagan, before some of the people at this table were even born, the adults. They had the war on cancer, I think it was like 75 years ago or something, 50 years ago. And cancer's just gone up through the roof. Like 1 in 2 or 3 people will get cancer. 1 in 3 people will die of heart disease in the United States. So, and then, as a nation, we're going broke because we don't have any people that can do any work. So, try to find someone to paint your porch. It's a nightmare because no one has any energy. Try to find someone to mow your lawn. It's just the basic things. Or try to go, it's just amazing how we're breaking down as a society gradually, but no one seems to notice and no one seems to care. But you know, hopefully I've empowered you to really have a victory over the energy crisis, you know, in our own metabolisms, and in you know, just the diseases, you know, the diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, the main ones that are just killing us. So, yeah. So I'll wind up there if there are no more questions. And so, thanks for watching. So over and out. You can hit the square button.